There's something sacred about the end of the day. Not because everything went perfectly or every box got checked, but because you made it through. You walked through another day full of thoughts, emotions, interactions, and decisions. Some moments felt light, others heavy. Some brought joy, while others tugged at emotions you kept buried under a smile. And now, as the night sky spreads its quiet curtain over the world, your body begins to slow down, but your soul may still be spinning, reaching, replaying. That's why you're here. Not to fix every loose end, but to find peace in surrender. Not because you've done enough to earn it, but because God is generous enough to give it freely. It's okay if today's weight was heavier than you let on. It's okay if you didn't get everything right. If your patience wore thin, or if the silence felt louder than usual. You are human, dear one. Human and still deeply loved. You don't have to show up perfectly to rest in God's presence tonight. He doesn't require perfection. He desires truth. And truth sounds a lot like this. God, I tried. I did what I could with what I had. And now I can carry it no longer. As I surrender this day to you, grant me your heavenly peace. That's it. That's the longing behind the fatigue, behind the mental noise, behind your silent sighs. A yearning not just to sleep, but to sleep in peace. The kind of peace only God Himself can offer. The world doesn't pause, yet you must. Your soul wasn't made for constant noise, endless scrolling, or relentless striving. Your soul was made for moments just like this. Moments when you close the door on the chaos and open your heart to God's calm. There is room here for all of it. For the mistakes you made and the things you got right. For the words you couldn't say and the boundaries you wish you had. For the emotions you tried to hide all day behind productivity and politeness. Surrender isn't failure. It's the bravest form of trust. It says, I know I can't do it all and believe that you, God, never expected me to try without you. As you lay in bed tonight, maybe your body feels ready to shut down, but your mind won't follow. That thought loop keeps repeating, trying to unravel the scenes of the day or plan for the next. But friend, planning is for the morning. Now is for peace. A specific, intentional, holy peace that wraps around your spirit and reminds you that safety is not in control, but in connection. You are seen even in silence. You are known even in weariness. And God is not waiting for a better version of you to show up at His feet. He's here for this version, the one too tired to speak, too overwhelmed to think clearly, too fragile to pretend. And yet, it's this version of you He calls beloved. Tonight isn't asking you for another plan. It's offering you an invitation. Come to me, even if you're empty. Come to me, even if your faith feels small. Come to me, especially if you're tired of holding it all together. There is room for your mess here. There is grace for your exhaustion. You don't need to organize your thoughts before you surrender them. You just need to be willing to let go. So start here. Breathe. Let your chest rise slowly. Exhale the heaviness. Inhale hope. Even now, in this small rhythm of breath, God meets you. This sacred surrender does not require eloquence. You don't have to explain everything that went wrong today. You don't have to replay every conversation or figure out how to solve what's still uncertain. You just bring it. All of it, the worry, the wonder, the weight. Place it in the hands of the one who carries galaxies and still cradles your heart with gentleness. Peace isn't found in problem solving. It's found in presence. His presence, quiet, kind, comforting. Close enough to feel when your soul finally stops striving and starts settling. Have you ever noticed how the body can be still, but the heart remains restless? That's why true sleep requires more than a pillow and a dark room. It requires letting your spirit unwind. It requires surrendering not just the schedule, but the stories you've been telling yourself all day about what you must still achieve, about what went wrong, about how you're falling behind. Lay them down now. Everything that tells you you're not enough. Everything that tries to define your worth by what you did or didn't do today. Those voices don't get to follow you into sacred rest. Leave them at the door. Let God speak louder. He doesn't speak in shame. He speaks in stillness. He whispers what your soul was always meant to hear. Rest, child. I'm here. You've carried enough. It's my turn now. Those aren't just pretty words. They're divine realities. And tonight, they're yours to receive. You may not know what tomorrow holds, but you can know who holds you tonight. And that knowing, that sacred assurance, is what allows peace to finally enter. So let the day fall behind you now. Whisper your surrender, even if it's shaky. Whether in words or just through heavy eyes turning heavenward, you've done enough for today. More than you give yourself credit for. Now let God do what He's been waiting to do all along. Quiet your thoughts with His love, shield your room with His presence, and fill your night with His peace. That's the goal. That's the gift. The real place where your day ends is not when the tasks end, but when your spirit gives the day back to the one it came from. Surrender is not losing control. It's placing it where it belongs. In God's care, that's where peace lives. That's where rest begins. So tonight, don't reach for perfection. Reach for presence. To surrender a day is not to erase it. It is not to pretend like the rough moments didn't exist, or that the difficult emotions didn't leave their mark. No, surrender acknowledges the full truth of the day, the beauty and the mess, the effort and the exhaustion. And then it hands it over, fully, lovingly, trustingly. Peace doesn't come from denial. It comes from release. And tonight, your soul longs for exactly that. Not to forget every burden, but to give it to the one who understands it fully. Dear Lord, as I surrender this day to you, grant me your heavenly peace. Not just sleep, not just silence, but peace that roots itself in your presence and holds me through the night. You don't have to package today in pretty language for God to receive it. You don't have to explain why certain choices were made or why certain emotions still linger. He knows, not just from a distance, but from an inner understanding that far surpasses human empathy. He walked with you through this day, saw the moments when your strength trembled and your smile masked deeper questions. He stood beside you in the conversations where you felt unheard, sat with you in the spaces where loneliness echoed louder than laughter. You may not have noticed him then, but he was there. And now he's here, gently waiting for you to hand it all over. You may ask, what does surrender actually look like? It looks like pausing, like breathing deeply and choosing to be honest with yourself and God. It looks like opening your hands metaphorically, or maybe even literally, and saying, I can't control this day anymore. It's done. My energy is gone. My answers are incomplete. But you, Lord, are whole. You are limitless. You are peace. And I am yours. In that moment, you stop fighting your thoughts. You stop trying to wrestle clarity from confusion. You stop analyzing what could have gone differently. And instead, you choose presence, stillness, trust. That's what makes bedtime surrender so sacred. It happens when you're unguarded, when your body is ready to relax, and your spirit is most open. Surrender isn't about being spiritual enough or holy enough. It's about being willing enough. It's looking at your calendar, your relationships, your stress, your silence, your failures, and quietly saying, Lord, I release it all into your hands. I'm not giving up. I'm handing it over. There's a difference. Giving up means letting life slip away without hope. Surrender means placing life in the hands of hope himself. That's what you're doing tonight. There might still be background noise in your heart, that lingering worry about tomorrow's responsibilities, that quiet ache over what wasn't done today, that fear about a decision waiting in your inbox or a conversation waiting in your home. Those things matter. God doesn't dismiss them, but He also doesn't want them to dictate your rest. He invites you to do something the world rarely celebrates, to stop, truly stop, and trust Him enough to rest. That might be the highest spiritual act you'll do today, to allow yourself to sleep, not out of avoidance, but because you believe the world can keep turning without your constant effort. Because God is still awake, still present, still in control. Imagine this. At the very moment your eyelids get heavy, heaven's gates swing open with peace you didn't even know you needed. Not because you said everything right, but because you simply turned your heart toward God and said, "Here, this day, I can't hold it anymore. Take it, cover it, heal what it broke, multiply the little I offered, redeem the parts I regret, and close it with peace." That kind of prayer doesn't need a platform. It just needs your permission. And tonight, He's already responding. You may not feel a sudden shock of relief, but there is something changing under the surface of your soul. A slow calm like rain on dry ground. It doesn't shout. It just begins to soak in. God doesn't measure your surrender by strength. He reads your posture. And there is something holy about a child curling up in bed and giving the day back to their father. Something deeply spiritual in whispering, "I trust you more than my thoughts." That habit of surrendering daily becomes a rhythm, a nightly Sabbath, a private meeting between your burdens and His comfort. You begin to realize that every day is a journey, but every night is the altar, a chance to lay everything down without resistance, a place to cry without fear of interruption, a place to find healing in the safety of stillness. Tonight isn't just any end, it's a holy exchange. Your stress for His stillness, your overthinking for His covering, your failed attempts for His redeeming love. But He won't push His peace on you. He gently waits to be wanted. That's the mystery of divine love. It never forces. It frees. So if you're still holding anything too tight, now is the moment to set it down. The control, the fear, the guilt, the plan. Just place it gently in God's hands, one worry at a time. And as you do, feel how your soul lightens. Feel how sleep stops being about escape and starts becoming about renewal. Because you're not just leaving the day behind, you're handing it to the one who already saw it coming and still stayed close. So now, as your body prepares to sleep, let your spirit take its cue. Let stillness rise. Let worry release. Let peace settle in. Not peace that the world gives, but the kind that passes understanding, that endures even when nothing is fixed. The kind that hovers in your room like a soft blanket of grace. God is not just closing your day. He's wrapping you in the assurance that you're not alone, that you are not just a worker, not just a doer, not just someone trying to get through. You are His. And heaven is watching over you tonight, not from far above, but near, closer than your breath, closer than your thoughts. Your surrender has been seen. Your heart has been heard. And now the sacred rhythm begins. Release, rest, renewal. This is the truth, and it is enough. Let peace take over now. God has the rest. There's a moment that comes gently, without grand announcement, when all the striving quiets, when the mind stops sprinting and the heart begins to slow down. Maybe you've already felt it rising, that shift from trying to trust Him, that stillness that doesn't start on the outside, but deep within. You've surrendered the day. You've whispered your worry. And now, something sacred is starting to settle, not outside you, but within you. Peace isn't knocking anymore. It has entered. And that, beloved soul, is God's gift for tonight. His presence not as an idea, but as a tangible companion, a covering of rest, a whisper that stays when the world turns away. It's easy to mistake peace for silence, to think we are peaceful only when the storm is gone or the problem solved. But true peace, God's heavenly peace, isn't built on circumstance. It grows in communion, right here, right now, in this room, between your breath and God's nearness. Even as certain things remain unresolved, even when emotions still linger, His peace says, I am enough for you tonight. You don't have to reach for more. You don't have to prove anything. This moment is already complete because I am in it with you. You may have come into this night heavy, unsure, burdened by mental noise that echoed long after the sun went down. But now, something has changed. And no, maybe the weight hasn't entirely left your life, but it's no longer crushing your chest. It's no longer defining your worth or deciding your rest. Somewhere along the way, maybe in the surrender, maybe in the sigh, maybe in the simple prayer of, Dear Lord, I give you this day, your soul was heard. Heaven leaned in, earth slowed, and God came close. So close that His peace became more than comfort. It became your confidence. Can you feel that now? Your breathing softer, your thoughts less tense, your heart realizing that it doesn't need to hold everything together tonight. The weight of productivity has been exchanged for the worth of presence. You did what you could. You made it through this day. And now, God is doing what only He can, giving you what no one else can offer. A rest that's not based on how much you completed, but on how much you've let go. This isn't just rest. This is restoration. Not the kind that happens loudly, but the kind that happens while the world sleeps and heaven works. You are being renewed. You may not see it, but peace is mending torn places inside. God is speaking deeper than words can reach. His presence doesn't need to perform. It simply exists, powerful, steady, permanent, right beside you, right over you. Like the stars outside your window, unwavering, ever-present, quietly shining regardless of what the day held. Some nights, you just need to be reminded that you are still held. That even when things aren't whole, you are. That you don't need to earn God's attention with the right words or emotions. He was here before you spoke. He came close when you didn't know what to say. That's peace. Knowing you don't have to carry the silence alone. That there is strength in letting go. And that the simple act of releasing your day is in itself a prayer strong enough to move heaven's heart. And this, perhaps, is what surrender was always meant to bring you to. Not just emptiness, but exchange. You gave God your exhaustion. He gave you rest. You offered chaos. He gave clarity. You whispered worry. He responded with warmth. This is how peace operates. Slowly, deeply, quietly. And now it's here, surrounding your bed, filling your breath, echoing in the soft pause between now and sleep. Maybe part of you still imagines what tomorrow will bring. That's okay. You're human. But tonight is not for the future. It's for the now. For the heart that needs to be told, it's okay to rest. It's okay to stop trying. It's okay to sleep before having all the answers. Faith is not formed in certainty. It is formed in trust. And right now, trust looks like breath. Inhale stillness. Exhale every fear. Keep repeating until it's not just your lungs slowing down, it's your soul too. God is not asking for more. He's offering what you've long desired, connection without pressure, love without condition, peace that doesn't depend on your timeline. All your heart had to do was become present. Nothing dramatic, just honest. And that was enough. That is enough. He has taken your day now. It's stress, it's fatigue, it's roller coaster. And in return, He offers you this moment, a holy covering, a divine assurance, a calm that stretches from spirit to skin. Maybe this is what heaven feels like. Not distant thunder, but quiet breath. Not grand light, but soft safety. And maybe, in discovering that peace isn't the absence of struggle, but the presence of God, you're realizing that rest is less about sleeping well and more about sleeping held. So lie back now. Really lie back. Like you're being carried. Because in truth, you are. Not by the strength of your own doing, but by the faithfulness of the one who never leaves, never sleeps, never misses a sigh. He is still awake, watching over you, guarding your room, speaking blessings over your soul that even you don't have the language to pray for. That's who He is. And this is what He gives. Dear Lord, I surrender this day to you. Thank you for letting me breathe in your peace. I needed it more than I even realized. And now I rest, unafraid, unburdened, unseen by many, but known by you. That alone is enough for tonight. Before your eyes fully close and your breath softens into sleep, take just a moment to acknowledge this. You made space for peace tonight, not by chance, not by performance, but by permission. You let your soul breathe. You let God in. And He came, not with loud miracles or flashing lights, but with the quiet assurance that His presence is still the most powerful gift of all. Sometimes, all we need is the softest yes to awaken the deepest healing. That's what this night has been. A sacred exchange, a whisper to heaven, a letting go that becomes a holding on. You came here with the weight of the day. You leave with the weight lifted, not because every problem was solved, but because you allowed peace to carry what your hands could not. That is strength. That is surrender. And if this moment touched even the smallest part of your heart, let it linger past tonight. Let it root into tomorrow, into your rhythms, your silence, your surrender. This is more than a bedtime prayer. It's a beginning, a renewal, a covenant between your spirit and God's nervous that says, I don't walk alone. I don't sleep forgotten. I don't exist unseen. I am held. If this prayer resonated with you, if somewhere in these quiet moments you felt something shift, however small, consider responding. No pressure, no expectation, simply reflection. You might respond by silently mouthing the words, I receive your peace. You might write it in a note on your phone. You might type it gently in the comments below. Sometimes the act of agreement makes the peace even more real. And maybe, just maybe, your confession of trust could echo into someone else's night. Someone who feels what you felt but lacks the language. Your words could be their courage. Your surrender, their cue to release. And if you know someone, even one person, who might need this kind of prayer, consider sending this to them. Even without a caption or explanation. You never know who's lying awake right now, waiting for a reason to rest. One gentle message could be the very lifeline they didn't know they were waiting for. These words aren't just words. They're an invitation, a reminder, a doorway to peace. Be the one who knocks gently on someone else's heart and leaves kindness behind. This space here, this sacred corner where prayer meets sleep, is always open for you. Return whenever the noise rises. Come back when hope feels dim. Let it be your routine, your comfort, your quiet reset. You don't need a reason to pray beyond this. You need rest that wraps around your soul like a warm, knowing blanket. And here, it waits. In every breath prayed, in every pause welcomed, in every whispered surrender. If you feel led to connect beyond this moment, to journey deeper into prayers that calm and reflections that restore, consider staying close. Subscribe not for quantity, but for quality of spirit. Let this grow into something that regularly pours peace into your evenings. A rhythm of revisiting rest, not just bodily rest, but soul-deep restoration. You are welcome here. Again, and again. But even if this is the first and only time we share this space together, that's enough. Because this moment was enough. You showed up when you didn't have to. You let go when you weren't sure how. You trusted the process. And now, sleep doesn't feel like a risk. It feels like a gift. So as you let these words slowly trail off into the hush of your room, let one final truth rest gently over you like the softest touch. You are not carrying today into tomorrow. You left it where it belonged, in the hands of the one who created you, in the arms of the one who redeems you. You are safe now, fully, completely, lovingly. Sleep well, beloved soul. Sleep knowing you are not behind. You are not too messy. You are not too tired to be loved. God saw this day, and now He closes it, covers it, blesses it, and blesses you. May your body find rest. May your heart find calm. May your spirit find the kind of peace that only heaven can give. Amen.